Joining us this morning is the Executive Director of the University of Pittsburgh Titusville Education and Training Hub. It's Dr. Stephanie Feely. Good morning. Good to see you this morning.
Good morning. Glad to be here.
You had a pretty busy weekend, didn't you?
It was busy. It was a busy weekend in Titusville, and we're ready to gear up and keep going this week with our open house at the Titusville Education and Training Hub.
Oh, that's fantastic. So before we get into all that, kind of recap for us what's been going on campus and what we're excited and looking forward to here.
Sure. So we're seeing increasing enrollment on campus this year, which is great. The dining hall is super busy, which is always amazing.
And open to the public, right?
And open to the public. Friday, we had the band and cheerleaders there as they were going around to all the different schools for homecoming. They stopped in to have lunch on campus. So it was great to see all them on campus as well. And all of our programs are, continuing to be successful, and 2 of them are already starting to enroll for next year already. And
wow.
It's amazing. It's constantly growing, and something's going on.
Well, and it's important. I know we talked before to find out what that thing is that's going on, right? Mm-hmm. What's causing this, and you're constantly talking to hospitals and other professions to kind of gauge what's happening, what the needs are, and I think you see that with the enrollment and those students and what they're taking up and how that applies to what the needs are. I mean, it's this big circle of things, and you're trying to navigate everything. I'm
trying to navigate as best as I can, as best as a lot of my colleagues can as well. Yeah. Looking to see what scholarship opportunities are out there for the students that are enrolling, what programs we need to look at, where the trends are of, this profession might be dwindling some and being filled, but this is the next one coming out, or,
so
where the needs are.
There was a time when, and it's still, I think it still exists, and I think this is what makes what you're doing in the university very special. I think there's a lot out there in the world where it's, these, here are the 4 walls, and you come into the classroom, and this is what we're teaching. And it's like, okay, and there's a place for that. But then there's also this, wait a second, maybe we need to be flexible. Maybe we need to see, what's changing, because technology is changing everything every second, and the way things are done, where now manufacturers and hospitals are going, oh, shoot, we need to adjust what we're doing. Well, how does that apply to those coming up and coming through? We don't want to get behind with people we're hiring.
Right.
And you're saying, no, we're keeping up with you.
We're trying our best to keep up with you, and learning even from software companies, like, this new version's coming out, and who's switching over, or, this machine is getting revamped totally, and we're going to this new machine, and, how does that impact our region? Because we know for manufacturing, for example, not every small shop can have the latest equipment. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to make sure we're meeting both those that are retaining older equipment that still has a lot of life to it, and those moving on to new machines and, 3-axis, 5-axis, all that. I'm learning right there with the students.
That's great, though.
It is. It's a lot of fun.
Well, and that's the other thing. We've talked about how engaged you are with the students and the faculty in general, and their support of every student that comes through there. There's always, they know that there's a cheerleader for them, encouraging them to keep going, and if they need anything, the staff's there for them. But I also feel like, as you're saying, you're going through that process too, learning with them, and that's really amazing to see that.
Yeah, and I don't actually sit in the class with them, but when they come to me and they're like, okay, this is what we're going to learn this week. Any insight of a possible guest speaker, or any insight to how we can go outside and use our skills that we're learning and go outside of the classroom, maybe a different part of campus, or, go to a business and visit that, or, trying to make those connections for them along the way.
So if that sounds different and fascinating to you, here's an opportunity to come and actually tour the campus, right?
Yes. So Saturday we have our open house at 9 a.m. And we will have an overview of all this that we have here, with each of our partners speaking. We have Career Link coming in as well to talk about some of the opportunities that they have for funding. We have obviously some refreshments for everyone along the way, and we will give all those participants a little swag bag so that they'll leave with some gear to take with them and help not only promote the hub and all of our partners, but to kind of feel that connection to the campus itself.
So that's one of the neat things about visiting is, potential students saying to you, okay, so I can take these classes. Oh, but I see you offer other things here.
Yes.
How can I get involved in that?
So when a student comes or even a family member comes, we give the packet to the student, or the person that's registered, and it actually has information from all 4 partners in it. So that, they may think they're going into one program and they really like that, but then they may decide, no, I'm going to change my mind in a month. I'm going to go into something else. Or they have a sibling at home that didn't attend, but now they at least have information that sibling may want it, or a parent may want it, or a cousin, or. So we try to share as much information as we can at those events. It takes, we start at 9:00. Most of the students are gone by 11, so it's not a long period of time. You're not committing your entire Saturday, when the leaves are in peak form to go out and enjoy the outside. So
yeah, well, that sounds like it's going to be a great opportunity to learn more about what's going on and to ask questions. What are questions? Some common questions you get during the tours?
A lot of it deals with time commitment, obviously cost, and the great thing is we have programs that are no cost, low cost, and reasonably cost. Depending on what program you're going into to what it will take, how much time it's going to take them. That's the big question, though. Am I here for 8 hours a day? Am I here for 1 hour 3 times a week? What are my obligations? And trying to convince them, to meet their needs, but also get a solid education and training opportunity to them.
Is there part of that discussion? If you take these programs. Once you complete the course, then these are the types of jobs you're going to be able to get? Or do a lot of those students coming in know that, there's a potential that I could get a job here or here?
A lot of them know an idea of what that training will get them to what job, but we try to tell them even more. Like, this hospital will take a clinical medical assistant, where this hospital you need an LPN, or you need a registered nurse degree, or depending on what field you might want and what those opportunities are. Or, we know right now when you graduate from the MAC program in 6 or 15 weeks, depending on which program you're in, you can get a job here, 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 and here, and they're ready for you.
Wow.
Because we're constantly getting phone calls saying, okay, do you have anybody in the pipeline for us? So this really is an opportunity to get your training and be the pipeline to a career.
Not to knock out anybody else, but is that where it's also different, where maybe you go to another school and you graduate and it's like good luck, whereas here it sounds like you're saying, hey, once you complete this, come see us because we've got 5 different places that are hiring right now?
I think it is different just because we're smaller, and we've built those connections within the region, and folks know the great work that we're educating with, and
they're using you as a resource for that,
yes.
Right? Because that helps them out.
It does, because they're not having to take time in the onboarding for a new employee to say, okay, this is what this does, and this is what this does. They know that there's a background, and they're like, okay, so you may not have learned exactly on this machine or on this software program, but it's compatible with this software that you worked on, to do your accounting work so that you can do someone's taxes or whatever that is.
Oh, that's great.
So.
And you're curious yourself. You're always asking questions. So I know
I am.
that when you are in environments, where you're surrounded by people who are doing the things that you're teaching is you're probably asking a ton of questions.
I am. I'm usually always asking somebody something. Even Saturday, we took part on the NWIRC's program that they did for middle school, Titusville middle school students to learn about manufacturing, and they toured our manufacturing assistant center down at the Opportunity Park, and even coming through and asking those youth, what did you learn? Because they also toured Grand Valley Manufacturing, and then they went over to the middle school and did some hands-on programming. What did you see? What did you really like? What intrigued you? Just to get their perspective, because we need to talk about those jobs in the region to our younger youth so that they have an interest as they continue through middle school to high school to post-secondary education or training centers.
That's fantastic. Let's do this real quick. You're watching The Morning Drill on Stream Television and on Armstrong's Neighborhood Channel and listening to it on the Allegheny News Talk Sports Network. We're here with Dr. Stephanie Feely, Executive Director of the University of Pittsburgh Titusville Education and Training Hub, and a big open house coming up this weekend, this Saturday, in the morning. So should folks call in and schedule their tour?
They can give us a call at 814-827-4509, or they can go on the website at titusville.pitt.edu/open house and register. Either way, get signed up, let us know which program you're interested in so that we can make sure that we designate that that's the program you want to go listen to the information on that morning.
And again, as you said, it's a chance to ask questions. You get to see the campus. We snuck down there, Saturday, I think, to take some pictures for before the homecoming dance. And you just kind of step back and you go, boy, this is such a beautiful campus.
It is.
So do you hear some of that too? Like, wow.
We do, and we hear a lot of it now. Folks have come up to me on the street and said, your maintenance crew is doing an excellent job. And I say, I totally agree.
Yeah.
They're constantly out there. Now they're constantly raking up leaves, but, tending to the grounds, making sure things are taken care of. I put the reminders out to them at those big nights that I know folks are going to be coming to take pictures, for homecoming, Sadie Hawkins, prom, you just May dance, all those. When we know that, hey, the reminder, they're coming, take pictures. So we make sure that, the walkways are cleared off from any debris that might have fallen from crazy winds that we've had over the course of the last few months, and making sure everything's ready for everyone to visit. And we see a lot of folks walking through campus.
Yes.
Either they're just walking the circle just because it's a nice flat area, or they're just cutting through campus to get to the other corner or whatever it is. So
it's funny, we've walked through before, and I know that we've done this, and I've watched others. They're going at a brisk pace, right, and then they get into the right in the center there, and then they slow up because they start looking around and they start taking in just how beautiful it is.
Yes.
So it's really an amazing campus, and I think again, by actually attending an open house event, you get to walk around and you get to see that for yourself.
You get to experience it firsthand, and I can't tell you how many folks have even come to talk to me and say, "Do you know how much wildlife you have on campus?" I'm like, "Yes, I do." It's not uncommon to see the deer just laying in the mulch beds, or running through at some point, or the rabbits and the squirrels and all that. So it's nice to, have the facilities available to people to come in and enjoy. The card club that comes in, the doctor's offices that come in over lunch because they're like, we can get in and out, or whatever that is.
And it's funny too, because over the years you talk to students from big cities, and even in town, they can look up. And again, this is one of those things where you go, well, that's kind of weird, but it's because we're here. But when you're able to look up in the sky and see stars,
yes,
things like that. Again, it makes it a really special place. In addition to the faculty, the staff, everybody that's there, just incredible. And again, it's a chance to Saturday, for example. Schedule your tour, and you get to meet some of those folks.
Definitely. And if you can't make it Saturday, let us know, and we can, get you in contact with one of our providers or our partners so that you can learn firsthand what the interest is and how you can get enrolled. And we'll have 2 more open houses in February and April too. So if you can't make it this time and you want to wait for an open house, there's always another opportunity.
What's the ideal time? Who should be calling you to schedule that tour for Saturday? Folks graduating in the end of this year?
Anyone, actually.
Okay.
We have some of our programs, we'll be partnering with the school district for those that are going to take some college in the classroom type programs. We have programs that will be starting in January. So if you're looking at wanting to get enrolled in something in, whether it's an NPRC business class, criminal justice, manufacturing class, we can get you those for January. Nursing is starting to enroll for next August.
Wow.
So, and that program had a wait list this summer. So you don't want to delay too long if you're trying to get into a program, and to ensure that you're in for their deadline.
And then there's the manufacturers who are calling you saying, hey, we have some employees that we'd like to get some additional training with them, and
Yes.
trying to get that scheduled too. So that's something that, again, they can call you anytime and have that conversation.
Right. They can give us a call, and we will definitely work with them. I typically send that right to the MAC themselves to schedule, but I know they've worked with them to say, okay, what nights of the week? Because most of the time when you're upskilling an employee, they want to go the 15-week part-time session. So they'll work during the day and come to us at night.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, what 2 nights work best for those employees? So that, if we know they tend to work a lot of overtime on Mondays, then we don't want to schedule classes for Monday. We want to do Tuesday, Thursday, or
Well,
whatever that is.
that's what I'm talking about with the flexibility.
Very flexible.
Where, again, some it's, well, this is how we've always done it, and this is the time, and this is the day. And I'm sure it's challenging for you, but you're seeing, I think, this reward for saying, hey, we're taking a really different approach. We're not just saying it, we're actually doing it.
Right. And before the MAC moved to Titusville, when they were in Homewood, they never offered part-time courses. They never offered evening courses. They moved to Titusville, and it was like, the demand is here to be flexible, to offer nighttime programs, to be part-time. And we said, if we have the students that need it at that time, then that's what we need to do.
So if you're a manufacturer in Meadville, Edinburgh, Oil City, Franklin, Erie,
Warren, we've talked to. Yeah.
all over, this is a great opportunity
Yes.
to get that additional training.
Yes. If a lot of them are calling because they're getting newer employees that don't have a lot of machining background even, but they need folks to help make the products or create the molds or whatever that is. So they call us and say, hey, when's your next class starting? How can we get our employees enrolled? Let's get them upskilled to be productive in our own facility.
Do you have anybody else calling you saying, hey, what are you doing? How are you doing this? Because we want to do it at our university, elsewhere.
I haven't, but I wouldn't be surprised if the
Okay.
president or the chancellor's office or somewhere, within Pitt is getting a call.
Don't tell anybody, but you guys have something special there.
We think we do. We think we do. And it was a long time coming.
Yeah.
It took a lot of planning on the university's part, but it's showing that hard work pays off and that good things are still to come.
Dr. Stephanie Feely joining us this morning.
Good.
Saturday morning?
Saturday morning, 9 o'clock, in the Henny lobby. We'll be there for the open house.
And call ahead to
Call ahead at 814-827-4509 or titusville.pitt.edu/open house.
good to see you. Thank you.
Thank you.